fun. But they announced, what's interesting about the TTSA announcement, there's a lot of ways to look at it. You know, it's a business venture. They list themselves as an entertainment group. Does that mean anything? I don't know. I guess they're doing a TV show, so that's entertainment. Their science group, they talk about wanting to bring classified technology to the public. I've been hearing this from different people for years and years, so this is the latest iteration of that. But what's really interesting to me is that you've got a very, very impressive group of individuals, and by any standard, these are impressive guys. And here they go in front of the world to talk about the reality of UFOs. They got a lot of things wrong right out of the gate, using a picture of a Mylar balloon used to describe a UFO. That was just a bush league mistake, as we say in America. That was just a really bad blunder. But overall, I think that what they have done is very, very deftly bring out the subject of UFOs before the rest of the world in a way that has not been done, and almost as a direct, not almost, as a direct result of their initiative. You get the New York Times and Politico magazine just 2 months later putting out articles on CTSA. Didn't really get a lot of attention in these, but their information is what got into the New York Times piece in particular. It's significant that the New York Times wrote about this the way they did. For 70 years, the New York Times didn't just write, every now and then they would write about UFOs, but they did it constantly in the most snarky, wrong-headed, dismissive, debunking manner. So this is a complete 180-degree change. And it is a significant thing to ask, like, what is going on here? Now, there's a lot, in fact, they did 2 articles that day. Not 1, 2 articles. This was really the lead article, I guess you could say. This is the article that talks about the existence of the Pentagon program, fairly recently, to study UFOs. Wow, kind of an interesting thing. I mean, it's really kind of a bombshell. We've been in this now for 2 years and we've known about it, but just remember how much of a shock it was that the United States government at that time, that there would be an admission that, oh yes, we actually have been studying these UFOs. All the public knew for years and years is that the government closed it back down in 1969 and never reopened the investigation. All through the 70s, the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Supposedly, no UFO investigation. And now suddenly the New York Times is telling us, oh yeah, as a matter of fact, they did. They did, because then they closed it down. They tell you these things when they're supposedly in the past tense. As we haven't really been learning, these studies have not ended. Absolutely not. But they make this announcement. And then the other article, of course, that they had that day was about the details of the Tic-Tac UFO encounter featuring Navy Commander David Fravor and his FA-18 Super Hornet. So we get the beginnings of kind of a public statement on this encounter. All of that had been known previously, by the way. Even back in the website Love Top Secret back in 2007, there was some talk about it. But it didn't really make it to the mainstream until the New York Times covered it. So it was a big, big dropping of a bomb, you could say, that occurred. When it happened, there were some UFO researchers who immediately said, that's a false flag. The New York Times piece is a false flag. And now I study false flags. It's an interest of mine. A false flag is simply an event in history where some terrible thing happens and it's blamed on another group that didn't do it intentionally. So an intelligence agency or a military group will do something, blow up buildings and kill people, and then blame it on, terrorists, or back in the Cold War, communists. That happened a lot, happens today. We live in an era of them. So I've studied false flags, and I know a little bit about them. And there were people calling this a false flag, and I thought, okay, you're going a little too far here. Is there spin? Yes. Is there deception? That's the real question. So the real thing that I wanted to ask about this is, what are they saying and what are they leaving out, and is what they're leaving out more important than what they're saying? So I'm going to just keep coming back to that. Someone's alarm is off. You know better. So, why is there a blank space there? Later in 2018, more of this information came out. This is George Knapp of KLAS in Las Vegas. George has been very, very involved in the UFO subject since he interviewed Bob Lazar back in 1989. He publishes an analysis on these craft. This came out of Bigelow Aerospace's study. And by the way, one thing we learned in the New York Times piece, of course, is that Robert Bigelow of Bigelow Advanced Aerospace, the man who was interviewed on 60 Minutes, was the main contractor to the Pentagon program, which is known as ATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. So Bigelow Aerospace got the main contract, $22 million for 5 years, not a whole lot of money, but there you go. And we're learning, by the way, that there was a lot more money than that going into this. Tom DeLonge just did a tweet a couple of weeks ago saying, hey, what if there's more than just the ATIP program, and what if it's still classified? What if it involves hundreds of millions of dollars that are still classified? Yeah, what if? Very interesting stuff coming out. Anyway, back in the spring of 2018, George Knapp published an analysis on these unknown objects by Bigelow Aerospace. And it's really interesting. So they did a report. They're finding these advanced aerial vehicles are not something that belong to the U.S. or any nation. So advanced it rendered U.S. capabilities ineffective. This is a document that, in fact, this is parts of it right here, but I'll just read it. So advanced it rendered U.S. capabilities ineffective, showed velocities far greater than anything known to exist. It can turn itself invisible, both to radar and to the human eye. What can do that? That's pretty interesting indeed. Essentially, it was undetectable and unchallenged. They go on to report, including statements from 7 of 18 pilots, as well as radar operators on the ships. Despite the seriousness of the encounter, the pilots faced ridicule after their encounters. The Navy's initial report was buried, not forwarded to command. It was decided that the AAV, the Advanced Aerial Vehicle, was not a threat. They're talking about the 2004 Tic-Tac UFO encounter. This is part of the paper. So that was released in the spring of 2018. That was kind of a big deal that came out. More toothpaste out of the tube. And then comes this lecture, just a little over a year ago, June 18, 2018. Hal Puthoff of TTSA, and Hal Puthoff has done many, many things in his career, gives a lecture that I think is one of the most important lectures of the last, we need some security over there. We're having fun. He gives a very important lecture. And by the way, I just want to point out, Linda Moulton House in the audience here. This is a piece that Linda was the caretaker of for a long time, and she gave it to Hal in his lab for analysis, and so she deserves a lot of credit for this. This was a piece that actually was sent into Art Bell back in the 90s. Art gave it to Linda. It is allegedly from a crash retrieval from the 1940s, I believe. What's interesting is that we've known about it for sure since the 1990s, still a long time. And what Puthoff is talking about, and by the way, you can watch this lecture on Vimeo. When I told him that this was on Vimeo, he actually had no idea it was shot. It's like, what? He thought this was going for a very quiet group, but it's out there. You can pay $5 US and watch it on Vimeo. Highly recommend it. So he talks about this. In fact, Steve Mera was talking about this piece last night. We were here for that. It's very, very, very fine gradations of bismuth and magnesium and other materials as well. But what's fascinating about it is he described, he said we looked at this for years and years and not only had no idea who made this or who could have made it, because we certainly can't. We don't know anyone who could make this. We don't know how to get the bond between the bismuth and magnesium at this level. This is way beyond anything that we know how to do. When he meant we, he means like we human beings. But also we didn't even know what this was for, like what purpose. And he goes on, and he says, well, what we've learned in the last couple of years only is that, he said, this makes an excellent wave guide, he says, for electromagnetic frequencies, high frequency terahertz range. So basically, light interacting on this material gives it an anti-gravitic effect, is what he's saying. And what's significant about it is it's in a lot more detail than I'm going to give you here, but he's very clearly saying, this is only 1 year ago, this lecture, that this material, A, manufactured at the nano or possibly even angstrom level, which we don't have to do the nano. As far as I can tell, we don't do manufacturing, nano engineering at that level yet. I tried looking up scientific papers of the tiniest level of nano engineering, and as far as I can see, we're looking at tens of nanometers, but not the nanometer scale and not the angstrom scale, which is 1/10 of a nanometer. So this is a very, very advanced piece of metamaterial. And really what a metamaterial is, it's a microscopic lattice type of a structure it's artificial, of course, and it can give material unusual properties of all different types, unusual strength or unusual conductivity and what have you. And so this is a metamaterial, but it's existed for a long enough time that we don't know how to explain this. So you've got a very high-level scientist. Hal Puthoff is very experienced. He's had security classifications for, I don't know, close to 50 years or more. And here he is talking about this bioweaponry. Another thing he said in this lecture is, he said, I can talk to you about certain things for the first time without going to jail. I asked him recently, said, so who gave you the green light? Like, wouldn't you like to know? He didn't really give me a good answer yet. I'm going to try to keep pressing him. He did not give me a very clear answer at all. But it's obvious that
Really? All right.
Seems to me what you've got is a faction within some element of the United States government, the United States military, United States intelligence community. And I think he's part of this faction. I call them Bigelow's Club from time to time. I think that's what we're looking at. You know, back in the 1980s, some people called them the aviary. And I think they've morphed, they've lost some old members, gotten some new members. And my take on these people is that they're trying to work their way into the labyrinth. They're trying to get to the center. They want the answers. I think even as recently as a decade ago or more, they were not at the center. And I'm not sure they're at the center now, but I think they're getting closer to the center. And my feeling is that they've got allies who are enabling them to get good press, enabling them to say a few things that they could not have said before. So there you have it. Shortly, during that lecture at Puthoff, by the way, he mentioned that he was a subcontractor to Robert Bigelow on the ATIP program. And he said one thing I could do for Bigelow was to get a sense from scientists around the world of advanced technology that would be applicable to the UFO phenomenon. And he talked about this pretty openly in his lecture. He just said, sent out requests for papers, ended up with 38 papers from scientists around the world on some really advanced subjects. I'll mention them in a moment. He said, the only thing is I didn't tell him it was for a UFO program. I said, what I'd like you to do is envision your field, I think he said in the year 2040 or 2050, and what would the state of your science be? So he was asking for explicitly futuristic check from them on, here's some of the subjects: positron aerospace propulsion, warp drive, space-time metric engineering. That was actually his paper. Space-time metric engineering. Dark energy, extra dimensions, negative mass propulsion, traversable wormholes, stargates, programmable matter, invisibility, cloaking, and so on. These papers appear on the Defense Department server known as the Joint Worldwide Intelligence Communications System, JWICS. He told me, Puthoff told me that these papers are considered the Bible on the JWICS server to this day. They are the most sought after papers on the entire server. Most of these papers, in theory, they're available if you write to the authors, but they're typically not out there to read. It's funny, after he mentioned this, there were Freedom of Information Act requests to get the titles of these formally from the Defense Department. They came out in January of this year, and a lot of the world of science completely misunderstood and handling of how to talk about these. So for example, the American Federation of Scientists, spokesperson of that leader is a man named Stephen Aftergood, wrote an article about this, and he just said this is like a waste of taxpayer money. I would beg to differ. I don't think he really understood or paid close attention to what was going on here. These are really important papers. They are the most cutting-edge papers that we have at least available to us in the non-classified world on some of these technologies that exist. But it just shows you how far we are from getting the world of science to look at this subject in a serious way, or at least openly in a serious way. We're still a long, long, long way from understanding even remotely how important this subject is. And incidentally, I don't really have this on my slides for this presentation, but there was a very interesting talk given by the scientist Jack Sarfati from December of 2018, and he's talking about the physics of the Tic Tac UFO. It's only a half-hour long interview. If you're interested in this stuff, I would recommend you find it and listen to it. It's worth listening to several times. He's got some ideas and he kind of piggybacks off of some of the things I've put off, and Eric Davis also talked about in these matters. So, but what we're seeing is through 2019, the drip continues. Politico does another article on, some of you remember this, it wasn't that long ago, a couple of months ago, that the United States Navy was updating its guidelines on UAP, that is unknown aerial phenomena, UFOs, on how to report them. So the US Navy is admitting to the world that yes, we have these encounters with objects that aren't supposed to exist, but they do exist. They seem to exist, we don't know what they belong to, and we're updating our guidelines. It's this funny thing about the UFO community, like, they're like, right now they're just ho-hum about this, or they're nitpicking every little thing that they see that's wrong in this. To me, I step back, I think 2 years ago, we would have been astonished at an article like this coming out. So it just shows, you can take a silver platter and hand people some of the most incredible information, and they just say, yeah, sure, show me something really good. Show me the truth. There's a lot that's always left out. There's always agendas. Everyone's got an agenda. That's because we're human beings, not angels, so everyone's got an agenda. But the thing that I like to focus on, and I try to remind people, is study the context of anything, but don't do it at the expense of looking at the content. Content first, content always first, and then you understand the context. Because if you don't understand the content of what's being said, and all you're doing is analyzing what you think are the motivations of someone else in doing this. Like, they're all members of the CIA, or they're all ex-defense intelligence. That's fine, and you can say, well, I don't trust their motives. And that's fine too, but if you actually ignore what they're saying, then you're making a big mistake. Because there's information coming out that's important. And this is important. And the fact that they say things in the article that are kind of laughably bad. Like this is important. This is response. This is from the article of April. In response to a series of sightings of unknown highly advanced aircraft. Okay, that's interesting. Sensitive military formation. There have been a number of reports of unauthorized and unidentified aircraft entering various military controlled ranges. That's an important statement. And by the way, these are things that I wrote about in excruciating detail in my 2 volumes of UFOs and the national security state. So to me, this is like right up my alley. I've studied so many military and UFOs over and over and over again. And so that's what they're talking about here, almost the exact same tone. And then this is where I'm going to take issue. Chris Mellon is quoted. So Christopher Mellon is one of the members of TTSA. He's one of the most prominent members of TTSA these days. And they quote him for the article. So Politico obviously is working very closely with TTSA. We all know that. And they quote Mellon, and he says, if we have a new formal means of reporting these objects, that would be a sea change. And this is what he says where I'm going to disagree. Right now we have a situation in which UFOs and UAPs are treated as anomalies to be ignored rather than anomalies to be explored. We have systems that exclude that information and dump it. Well, that may be true, but I'll guarantee you there are also places that take this very seriously and have looked into this. It's not like the U.S. military is just completely ignoring or the UK military for that matter, or any of these others. They don't ignore these sightings. They know. In fact, what we learned with the Tic Tac UFO encounter in 2004 wasn't simply that Commander Fravor, was vectored in to see this object. It looks like a big 40-foot long Tic Tac hovering at the water off the coast of California, and it comes up to meet him and circles around as he's circling to go down after it, and it zooms off at a speed of 10,000 miles per hour, more. Unbelievable speed. And he said, wow, I don't know what it was, but I'd like to fly it. But there's much more than that. We have the radar operator, Kevin Day, of the USS Princeton, who's talked about this now. And he said, yeah, I tracked it. It was at an altitude of 28,000 feet. It drops in 0.78 seconds to sea level. Well, that's over 20,000 miles per hour, folks. That's really mighty fast and on a dime. So whatever this is. And so what happened is, what we learned is that in the aftermath of that encounter, guys in black suits came aboard the ship and confiscated all the radar data, all the technical data, and it's gone. So don't tell me that they're not exploring this. Don't tell me they don't know what they're dealing with. Don't tell me that this is not being observed. It's obviously being observed. So the statement that we ignore these anomalies, I don't think is true. But I do understand where they're coming from in this article. At least I think I do. Because what these folks are doing, and I'm not part of that at all. Not on their payroll, I'm not their buddy. I don't attend any of their meetings. I don't really communicate other than occasionally without cutoff. But what I think they're doing is they're navigating a little terrain here. They've definitely got enemies in the Pentagon who hate what they are doing. Who do not want any kind of disclosure coming out. They're also dealing with hostile media, what has been hostile media, definitely hostile scientific community, hostile academia. So they're positioning themselves in a certain way. That is pretty much obvious. And so they make these statements. We're ignoring this data. We need to pay attention to the data. Okay, I kind of get that. Let me move on. Oh yes, RT. Ooh, evil RT, be very afraid. I like bringing RT in every now and then because you're not supposed to like RT. And anytime anyone tells me not to do something, that makes me want to do it. And so I've got an RT article here for you. Good for you. Experiencing. Question more. They have an article here about, this was actually out there in a number of places, but they just, nice little headline. The Pentagon admitted that the ATIP program did conduct UFO investigations. And I mean, this is old news in a way, but the Pentagon had not previously made that admission. That had come out in the New York Times, it had come out in Politico, but the Pentagon itself, through their spokesperson, Christopher Sherwood, actually did formally say, yeah, ATIP did pursue research and investigation into unidentified aerial phenomena. By the way, the original was unknown aerial phenomena, now they call them unidentified aerial phenomena or whatever. And then comes another New York Times bombshell article, and this is a good article. May 26th of this year. Same three authors who did the original New York Times pieces from 2017. Helen Cooper, Robert Blumenthal, and Leslie King. A lot of you know who Leslie is. And they come out with the second of these, or the second time that they published an article on UFOs. This is all about the eastern U.S. coast, off the coast of Virginia. Battle group in 2014 and 2015, so pretty recently, experiencing UFOs on a nearly daily basis for about 9 months, from the summer of 2014 to the spring of 2015. Wow. And just a little bit of the article here. Almost daily. So if it's almost daily for that long period of time, you're talking well over 200 encounters, I think. That's a lot of UFOs. The description of what they have in there. Okay. So, they say the object was seen almost daily for 9 months during training maneuvers, hypersonic speeds, that's like 5,000 miles per hour, or 8,000 kilometers per hour. Instant acceleration, stopping, maneuvering. And, they point out in the article, like, to do this, you need a tremendous amount of energy, but and we don't have that amount of energy to do any of that, but these objects didn't seem to be leaving heat signatures that you would expect to have all that, and generating all that energy. One of the most dramatic things that they talked about was in near collision. You have two FA-18 Super Hornets. These are amazing aircraft that the US Navy has. They're doing maneuvers. They're, I think, about 100 feet apart from each other, 30 meters, and an object comes at them, between them. It's square, cubed, with a sphere of some sort in the center. And I saw an analysis recently that attempted to describe this as known satellite type technology. With respect, I don't think that that's a credible explanation for this, particularly in the context of these constant barrage of sightings that the US Navy was having. So it was kind of an amazing thing, and that got the Navy pilots really kind of angry because, you know, they were noticing these objects all the time. They're doing training maneuvers. You're not supposed to have anything out there. It's dangerous. And when an object comes that close to you, that's very, very dangerous indeed. So what we learned is that a lot of these were video recorded in one form or another, and very little of this has come to us, almost nothing. On the same day as the New York Times piece came out, a new YouTube channel called The Nimitz Encounter, that's the name of the channel, released a 30-minute documentary about the Nimitz Encounter with some very nice visual graphic recreations, and you can see a little bit of it there. These are two of the gentlemen who were featured on there. On top is Kevin Day. I mentioned him, but he was the radar operator of Princeton. And the gentleman on the bottom was the one who talked about how the conversation that took place and the aftermath of this. So I recommend those seeing that documentary. And all of this is very coordinated. So clearly, you can see the fingerprints of TTSA behind all of this. And in the aftermath, Washington Post, they're even worse than the New York Times. Well, probably one of the worst publications in the United States is the Washington Post. They're terrible, and they've been even worse on UFOs than they are on everything else. Worse than the New York Times on UFOs, and that took some doing. I mean, the most snarky, bad articles of bad faith for years and years and years and years out of the Washington Post. They finally do an op-ed piece on UFOs saying UFOs exist and everyone needs to adjust to that fact. What? Washington Post? Honestly, am I living in upside down world? I wonder what is happening here at the Washington Post doing that. Now, I'm going to say this. When the New York Times and the Washington Post are telling you to believe something, you better be really careful about what they're saying. These are the people who gave us weapons of mass destruction back in 2003. Liars. These are the people who gave us a lot of other lies about the modern world that were clearly showing that they were embedded in the U.S. intelligence community and the U.S. military, and extremely dishonest about what they report. So does that mean everything they report is dishonest? Well, no, it doesn't mean that, I suppose. But it does make me wonder, what is happening at the Washington Post? This doesn't happen by accident. So someone was able to get the Washington Post to do this editorial now. How high up does this come from? That's the question. I don't know anyone who's got an answer to this. There are people who think that this is a high-level, ultra-high-level CIA op. I haven't seen no evidence of this whatsoever, but it is definitely true. The Washington Post has worked with CIA since day one. They've been very close to CIA, so it is a possibility. But I think it's just as likely that TTSA is people. Some of them are very, very tight with media. I think they were able to make this happen. So how that happened, the details are something that we really need to continue to look into. At the same time, all of this is happening at once. It's like the rollout of the TV show Unidentified, which aired on May 31st. So all of this has been a week. The New York Times piece, the new YouTube channel, the Navy's reporting from late April. All of this is very, very close together. The TV show Unidentified, you've got Tom DeLonge, you've got Chris Mellon, Lou Elizondo, that's Steve Justice of Lockheed Boeing there. Some of the leading people in that show talking in detail about these encounters. And I just want to point out, we've seen the first 6 episodes of that. Folks who say it's really great, there's folks who say it's really terrible, there's people who say, I don't trust their message, or it's fear-mongering. You got Lou Elizondo constantly talking about this threat. This is a threat. And it's true, he really does hit that theme kind of hard. So the question is, what's going on here? I will say that me watching it, I didn't find myself afraid in any way. I thought this is not a scary show. You want to fear-monger me, you're going to really have to work a lot harder. What I did notice is that they covered a lot of military-type UFO encounters of the same type that I have covered in my own history of doing this subject. And I will say also that they presented a better version. They've given us a UFO encounter with the military that's probably a better documented encounter than anything else I can think of, and that is the 2004 Tic Tac UFO at this point. The number of witnesses they brought out, the amount of information, it's really quite a lot. So I'm totally supportive of that, as I am supportive of the information they brought out about the 2014-2015 sightings. There's things that I can absolutely pick apart or criticize, but overall I consider them minor compared with the fact that they're putting this information out. Something is being ruled out, and the question is, where is this headed? Well, one thing that we can say is that this is an attempt to do some kind of disclosure with a rebranding of the UFO subject. One thing that you hear on the show all the time that's disingenuous, absolutely, is we don't know what these things are. You hear this all the time. We don't know what they are. Maybe they're Russian or Chinese, although we don't think so. They hear this all the time. Maybe they are extraterrestrial. Maybe they're from some other civilization. Well, they're not. Now, I want to talk with Steve about this, because last night in his chat, if some of you were here, he argued that he believed that this was human tech. And I'd like to know what is the human tech that can do this, because I'm not aware of how this can be done. How we're able to do objects, inertia-free objects living in 20,000+ miles